This video brought to you in part by these fantastic Patreons. Patreons are the lifeblood and the backbone of this channel and help with cool things like the giveaway in the description. But let's get into the video. Hey guys, what is up and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun and this is TSS podcast, I think number 6, maybe number 7. I don't know, probably would be a good idea if I looked that up before I started the podcast, but I am joined with ArkFGO and Andraxxus. Now, some of my Latam viewers may know these two, but for a lot of my English viewers, I don't think that you guys have ran into these gentlemen, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring them on to the channel. You guys are two of the more prominent Latam content creators, correct?
Yep, that will be correct. Although I have a hard time believing that I do have this beautiful community on my streams and my videos, and it's been like a really roller coaster of emotions to have all these people like coming to the streams, coming to the videos, and to the comments and flow in the chat. It's been amazing.
Well, first, thank you for having me. And well, I don't know if I'm like big. I don't know. Andraxxus is the biggest. I'm just like a little fish swarming around this big ocean that is the internet. But I just like to have fun with the people. They really make my day. They make my life like it's worth it to live and to wake up in the morning, because I do something that I think a lot of people can do, but for some reason I'm doing this now. So
we love you too, Ark.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things too, though, is that just because everybody can do it doesn't mean that everybody is going to do it. And you know, one of the big things with content creation is, you know, doing it because you enjoying it, and then, you know, seeing where it goes from there. So, you know, that's awesome. And Andraxxus, I actually, like, I had seen you around prior to, you know, interacting with you on streams, and the podcast that I did with ArkFGO that I don't know if it ever got translated and put up, but that is I still have some people in some of my streams because I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna be on this guy's podcast, and they're like, oh sweet, when's it gonna be up? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll let you know when he lets me know. But you know, yeah, so like I had you know, I had seen you around Ark. You had followed me and actually reached out to me a while ago, and I actually confused you and Andraxxus at one point when I was in his stream, because I was like, man, I know somebody with an A reached out to me on Twitter. I'm like, they both are from Latam and they both have A in their name. I'll just pick one of the two and message them. And so I was on Andraxxus' stream and I'm like, hey dude, I remember that time that you asked me about you know, collab or doing like a thing together. And he's like, nope, definitely not me, but I would like to do that. And I'm like, all right, cool deal, man. Yeah, no, so that's really cool. And the thing is, like, when I found you guys and when I started like looking into everything that you did, it's really cool that Fate Grand Order has communities like outside of like JP and just English. For me, there's a lot of times that I forget that anything exists outside of Ohio. So when people are like, hey man, I'm from the Philippines, or I'm from like Chile, or I'm from this place, I'm like, that's weird. I didn't know that that you guys, you know, played Fate Grand Order over there. So it was really, really cool to see the fact that, you know, you guys had this. And you know, I know as like an English creator, like I have, you know, people from all walks of life and countries, but I know that for me, even if I kind of knew the language, if it was a second language, I would just feel more comfortable, watching something that I enjoyed or watching a personality in obviously my native language, because that is, that is what I grew up with. So it's awesome that you guys are, helping out that community. And, so good job, guys.
Well, well, thank you. I mean, when I was starting this, like I have been a content creator for over maybe 6, 7 years now, but it's like you said, like I always like to create something that I enjoy, that I like. So that's why maybe I haven't like blew up in 6, 7 years. Like people are like, oh, on this in this day of time, like if you're 6 or 7 years old into content creator, you're like a fossil and you should have been blowing up. Like why are you PewDiePie friends or something? But that's because I didn't want to play what everybody was playing. I would just love to play what I would like to play. And for a long time, there was a bunch of MMOs, stuff like that. But when I saw the potential that mobile games had in gaming in general, like I I actually told my wife, like I'm gonna bet that mobile gaming it's gonna be huge in like 2 years, and I actually said that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And
and
like
I know
yeah,
that, we had talked about that a little bit. I don't know if we talked about it on your podcast, Ark, or if it was just one of those side things that we talked about
I think
after
what's
the
on this
fact.
side.
But
I didn't remember. It
yeah,
wasn't
no,
really.
like I know for me though, like coming out of that conversation, like it really hammered home, because I was like, man, this is what I've been talking about with people for like a while now. It's like, mobile gaming is like going to be, I don't think it'll ever take like the number one spot of like what people are watching, but I think that as time goes on and as like handheld devices get better and better, like mobile gaming is going to pick up a much bigger chunk of the market. And being that I both enjoy, mobile games and bad financial decisions,
Of course.
this works out really, really good for me, because I can play a bunch of, gotcha games and justify my terrible financial life choices by going, well, I mean, I need to roll all this on these waifus for the channel. So, I just blame all of that on my viewers.
Of course, we all
Yes.
do. We all do actually.
Right.
And yeah, like when I was playing like a bunch of mobile games, I was playing Pokemon Go. I was playing. At that time, I stopped being or creating content for a while, and actually, my first gacha game, I think it was a game called Soul Hunters,
I think I've heard of
and
that.
yeah, like I know it's still on the Play Store, and I should maybe download it again. So I don't know what is
It's
what's
so
the
hard
account anymore.
sometimes to keep up with all the
Yeah,
gotcha games that are out or have come out.
yeah,
I think my first
and
gacha game was like Puzzles and Dragons. I think.
Dude, that was my first gotcha
oh
game.
yeah,
And you know why I started playing Puzzles and Dragons? It because of the League of Legends ex pro player. I think it's Dyrus. I don't know if you know
oh
him.
Dyrus,
Yeah.
Dyrus,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he was like playing Puzzles and Dragons while he was streaming, and I was like, dude, that game has waifus. I need it. So well,
I mean, that's my deciding factor on quite a few gotcha games. I look at it, I'm like, gameplay. I'm like, what kind of waifus do we have in this one? And then
Right.
I go from there. Um, so yeah, but so you said you had been making content for 6 years, and that you never really blew up anything like that, Andraxxus. And one of the things that I think a lot of content creators now worry too much about is blowing up. They're always worried about chasing those numbers and not having fun. And I know one of the things, especially for me, because I fell into that trap a couple of times, is like that just leads to like massive burnout and stress. And you know because if you're always chasing that number, that viralness, like it's good to have like the motivation to grow your channel and your community. But yeah, if you're just always chasing those numbers, then you're in for a bad time.
Yeah, that's true because you always need to enjoy what you're doing, even if you have like 2 viewers or 20,000. It's about the just having fun, and I did. I was playing nonstop a bunch of MMOs, a bunch of RPG games and stuff on stream and doing videos. But in the end, I it's not like I got burned out of doing that. Just I had other priorities. I was having I need to have time for my girlfriend at the time, and then I broke up with her, uh, re-met with my now wife, and got married. Bunch of stuff like IRL stuff all over the place. So that's why I have to put things on hold for a
And
while.
see, now your ex-girlfriend is like, man, I could have been with Andraxxus. I'm kicking myself now. F in the chat for Andraxxus's ex-girlfriend.
F in the chat.
Yeah, no, I definitely know about the real life stuff, because like I have a full-time job, I have a gig doing security for anime conventions, I vend at anime conventions. I started picking up just going to like all of these conventions that have like the Fate stuff, because I've really been enjoying being like the on the ground person that's recording, live streaming, the FGO tours and the panels and stuff like that. Like that's a lot of fun, and like getting out and actually like meeting people from the channel, and that's a lot of work. And then trying to keep up with content, things like that, because I might be traveling for a week to go to a convention, and if I don't have videos pre-planned and like put together, or they're just like really easy videos that I can put together like in the hotel, it's real tough. And so yeah, real life is always hard to juggle with hard to juggle with like a YouTube channel or streaming or anything like that. So I definitely understand that. And a lot of people don't understand that like we as content creators don't really get a lot of time off, because if you have time off, chances are that you're still playing your account, because you need to level, you need to keep going, because when you're making a video, hard to play your game and work on a video at the same time. That's why sometimes I'm super jealous of people who just stream, because I'm like, man, you just played this game for like 4 hours. Like, I mean, I just talk to myself and my dogs while I'm playing anyways, so like this would be real easy. And I actually, streaming is actually almost a break for me from writing scripts, photoshopping things, working on videos, audio, stuff like that, because I can just kind of sit back and just play games. But Ark, you've been a little quiet here. Tell me how you got into content creation.
Well, I actually started in December. I think it was December 20 something from 2017.
Okay.
Uh, I, I I used to watch a lot of Fate Grand Order content from you, from Toho, from Saints, Voice of Saint Wars, about from a lot of not a whale, a lot of content creators from the US, because I usually not I didn't knew if there was someone who did content for Fate Grand Order on in Spanish. And I started playing Fate when I was in Japan. I was living there, and I was playing the game, and there was some horrible banner that got me to my knees and screaming to the heavens why I didn't get my waifu. So
Which
I
banner was it?
Narrowcaster.
Oh,
Yes. So I pledged myself that I will get her when when she's around on in NA. So most of my viewers think that I'm gonna probably die when I try to roll her, but don't
Oh,
worry.
I can confirm. I can confirm. No, the thing is let me put you on context. For
yeah.
instance, on the Merlin banner, he was so hyped, like so hyped. People in chat were like, "Dude, please stop. You're scaring me. You're about to have a heart attack. Like, please, dude, stop. Like seriously." Chat was all about that, and he finally got him. And when he got Merlin, like Chat was okay. No, he's gonna die right now. He's gonna pass out. He's gonna pass out. He's gonna die
Yeah,
right here. We're gonna see a streamer died in live. Like,
well,
it was
at least I'm
insane.
gonna get my F's on chat, no?
yeah, no, like
So-
that's the thing is I feel like if a streamer did like somehow die on stream, it would just be nothing but F's in the chat. No one would, like one or two people would be like, "Hey, should we like I don't know, call an
911.
ambulance or something?" And everyone would just be flooded out by F's.
press
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, F.
yeah.
F.
F,
So
F in
yeah,
the chat for Ark.
the only there's been only one time that that my chest hurt, and it was on Graham's banner when Carmilla spooked me. It was horrible, but well,
No, you got 3 spooks, right?
no. But the first time
Oh,
that
the first one. all right.
Carmilla, I was expecting stand up, but when Carmilla showed up, my chest hurt. It was like oh. But anyway, I started making like videos and stuff about FGO because I used to watch you guys and well, Andraxxus, sorry, I didn't knew him because
I don't
I
know
don't
remember.
know. But my chat when I was streaming, when I started streaming and stuff, people were like, "Oh, dude, did you know Andraxxus?" And I was like, "What?" And they introduced me to Andraxxus and a lot of other content creators from FGO, Multiaxelis, Origin TV, Haseo, MB, Panteos, a lot of content creators from Latin America, and I was actually quite amused that there was a lot of people making stuff because I just started making videos to help people. I didn't think that I was like trying to reinvent the wheel. I was like, dude, people usually don't know where to get information. I was part of some group on Facebook for FGO, and I used to help people there because I was on the NA server from day one. So there was a lot of people that I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. You guys read the wiki or I don't know the Cernopedia or I don't know any pages that have information from Fate Grand Order, but some people in Latin America don't actually know English that well, and they have a hard time trying to understand what does it say.
I mean, to be
So
fair, a lot of people in the United States don't understand English very well either, so they don't necessarily know what the what the wiki says either.
but well anyway, they try to get more information, and I I just wanted to help people. It's funny because I don't think that I'm doing anything out of the ordinary, and I just I just want to help, and then this became my life. Actually, I suffered from an accident in work back on June from last year, and I couldn't do anything. I I can't do what I do for a living. I'm just to be a I'm just to be an adventurer like you, but then I took a fall to the knee. But I actually a fall.
Literally.
Yeah, that's what actually happened. But and then it was like, well, what do I do? I could just wait for me to get better, or I could start doing more serious stuff, and I start streaming more and I started doing more videos. At some point of the time, I was streaming on YouTube like 4 hours a day, 2 hours on like in the middle of the day, and 2 hours on the afternoon, on the night. I don't know how all this became to be like this. I the other day. Toho mentioned Andraxxus, and I was like, "Yeah, it's Andraxxus," but then he mentions me, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Uh, when I talk to you, and I get nervous because I'm a fan, dude. It's quite normal. So for me, it's I don't know what's going on most of the time. And Andraxxus has helped me a lot. I'm really grateful to him because he really has the patience to deal with people like me that don't understand anything. Most of my stream, I just turn the Streamlabs and I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. But he has helped me a lot, and I'm really grateful to him and to everyone in my community that is like, dude, don't worry, I'm gonna help you with X thing or J thing or anything, because I don't know why why everything is it's happening, and why I'm in this position that my livelihood, I think that's the word. I'm sorry if I pronounced it like garbage, but
Dude, breathe. Breathe.
yeah, I know.
Breathe.
I don't. I don't.
Ark is like one of the most wholesome people right now, just full of heart. See, and that's the one thing that I really like is when I meet people that are super passionate about the game and just super passionate about helping out the community. And like that's a big thing, you know, because if you're becoming a content creator for a job, then you know you're not building that community, you're not, you know, helping people out, you're just looking at it as a job. Whereas like, you know, people like us, we're looking at it as like, look man, I just wanted to make friends. I live in the woods with my dogs. Like I live in the middle of the country. Nobody out here even knows what a mobile game is. So I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about Fate Grand Order. And you know, when I started my channel, it was literally just me being like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw some videos up on here and see if people like this. And then it just kind of grew and like it snowballed. And my thing is, every time I put up a video, if it helps out one person, then I've done my job. It could have a 99% thumbs down ratio, everyone could hate it, but as long as one person likes it and has helped out one person, that's really all I care about. Like I've never been like, oh my goodness, this video got 10 thumbs downs, why don't these people like this? As long as it got one thumbs up and someone's like, hey, thanks for the info, like I literally did my job. You know, that was what I aimed to do. You know, you brought up the fact that you know, a lot of people don't necessarily know where to get the information from, or even like in your case, you know, a lot of people, English is their second language, so they don't even necessarily know what it is that they're even trying to look up in the first place. And a lot of people that are brand new to the game could go and look at Cernopedia, could go look at Game Press, could go look at the wiki, and those numbers don't mean anything to them. They go, oh, that's cool, attack goes up by 50%, that's probably pretty good, I guess, you know, but they don't understand why that's so good. And one of the things that I think that we as content creators do is we take a lot of information and we put it into a form that is easily consumable by people and then add our own flair to it. You know, it's not reinventing the wheel, but a lot of times with content creation, it is really just finding what you're passionate about and putting your own spin on it. Because I mean, like you said, you know, the wiki's out there, the information's out there, but you know, if you can present it in a way that is beneficial for the people who follow your channel, then I mean, boom, easy clap, done, boys, you did your job, and you know, you're having fun doing it. So yeah, and it's really awesome to see people like you, Ark, that are like super passionate about it, because you know that just shows like how good the FGO community is, because almost all of the creators that are in the FGO community are just passionate about the game, whether, and even if they go into other games, they're just passionate about gacha games in general and waifus, and that's really the real goal of everything, is those 2D waifus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's not like, I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like in here, and I feel for most people, there are two types of persons who love games and who love gacha games and who love a bunch of different games, and people who are so into the franchise, like me, for instance. I enter in both worlds. I love mobile games, I love gacha games, and I'm so into the Nasu franchise, like the Fate franchise, the Kara no Kyokai, Tsugihime, a bunch of stuff. And we are so into it that we can't just help it but love the game, love our servants, love our the game itself. I don't know, like you see what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's quite amazing to I don't know, to have a lot of people to speak about something that you love so much. And I I I have never met in real life, like a lot of people that were like really passionate to play this kind of stuff. And they usually are people that criticize us just because we like PNG waifus. But I don't really care. I just like my PN waifu, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. But I hope the community gets better, not because of me, because the community takes the responsibility to make itself better. To I don't know, if someone is trying to get help because it's new to the franchise or the game, or I don't know, I think it's more productive to say, instead of, oh dude, just burn Steno, it's trash. No, I think it's better to say, well, maybe it's not the best to start with, but it can do this and it can do this and it can do that, and it helps the new player to understand and to make and to create some kind of self logic to what it is, what I have, these tools that I have, these servants that I have. What do they do? Do they have some kind of work? Yes, they do. They do have it. But what is that they have? I need to understand them to use them properly. It's not the best attack. It's not the best skill. What does it have? Every servant, for at least for me, every servant, it's a different tool to use it in different ways. Maybe sometimes it's there are easier tools to use, and sometimes there are harder, like Angry Mango. The Mango, it's not an easy servant to use. but another easy servant to use is Merlin. So it's not that one is better than the other. It's that they're it's like a screwdriver, and the other is like I don't know how it's called, the thingy that you use to move the other thing is, I don't know the words. I'm
A
sorry.
wrench?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's different tools, dude. So
yeah, no, and I definitely get that, and I think that one of the biggest disservices that people can do to somebody who's asking them a question is to just tell them to go read the wiki, because that's super dismissive. And you know, it takes, like, when I'm in stream, if somebody asks me a question, it takes me all of like 30 seconds to answer a question, unless it's more of an in-depth question, you know, on a specific thing. But, you know, if somebody asks something, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, no, it does this, this, and this, and this is why it's really good. And the other thing too is, you know, I might not know everything. So, well, I definitely don't know everything. And so if somebody asks me a question and I don't know, then I'm like, oh yeah, let's go look this up real quick, because I don't actually know that. There were a handful of the School of Chaldea videos that I put together that, like, I was looking through things and I didn't even know that. Like, and I would go ask other seasoned people. I'm like, hey, did you know that if you do a Brave Chain with the same cards, your extra attack does 350% damage instead of 250% damage? And they're like, I didn't even know how much damage extra attack did. It just was an extra attack. So yeah, but that was
I
like,
actually didn't know that.
Yeah, see, like that was the thing. That was one of the things that, like, I learned while I was doing that. In the past, I've looked at damage calculations. I was trying to find out how much damage I could do to Ibaraki the first time around, when I was trying to see just how much damage I could bust out with my my Jalter. And you know, so I was like, oh, okay, if I add in, you know, Nightingale for Buster Up, that's multiplicative with attack damage, so I would actually squeak out this much more damage. And then sometimes adding in, you know, 20% Noble Phantasm damage actually outweighs like an extra 30 or 40% attack up, depending on how much extra attack up you have, because, you know, you'll have that plus 20, that multiplicative 20% versus, you know, maybe another 30% flat attack damage. So running like those kind of numbers and like finding out what things did what, you know, was really, you know, is really kind of cool to me. And so I have people that'll suggest, hey, what about this for a School of Chaldea? And I actually need to bump those back into production. There's a lot of series I need to do and not a lot of time, but you know, they'll be like, hey, well, what do you think about this? And I'm like, that is actually a really fantastic question, and is something that I should cover, because like not a lot of people know those things. Like there's actually hidden mechanics where if you hit a rider, you actually get more NP gauge back just passively. It doesn't matter what you're using. Or not a rider, but casters. That's why riders, when they ride all over casters, gain back NP so fast, is because you get an extra amount of NP back for your bar just by hitting a caster. And there's like a whole bunch of extra things like that, and just little tiny mechanical things in the game that like nobody really knows. And you know, they're hidden in like the depths of a forum somewhere or in a comment section of a wiki. And you know, you can bring to light a lot of these things that even you don't know until someone mentions it, or you just go digging on your own. And to not put that out there, I feel, is personally like a disservice as well, because having the information in as many places as humanly possible is not hurting anyone in the slightest. Like, yeah, you could go to the wiki and find it, you could go to Cernopedia and find it, and I think Ark just got super excited, and his computer died. He was just so excited from talking. But you know, so like a lot of people will be like, well, why even make a video on this, because it's just stuff you can put on the wiki. And it's like, is more information ever bad? Like, can you have too many places to find information? If it's disseminated everywhere, then there's more chances for noobs to find it, you know?
Exactly. Like when I run across comments like that, like, what are you doing this video? This is so basic. And I respond like, dude, it may be basic for you because you've been playing the game nonstop from day one, like me. But there's a bunch of people who are just starting the game, who do not nothing about the game, and they might need this. So yeah, this video is for them. If you want to see it and you think it's very basic, good for you. You actually know about the game, and that's really great. But more information never hurt anyone.
Yeah, that's one of my things that I've always wondered is, like, when I do a servant review, some people come in and be like, why did you even do this servant review? Like, anyone can look this stuff up. And I'm like, why did you come to this video expecting some sort of like nugget of hidden wisdom wiki master who has mastered the arts of everything about this game? Like, what were you coming here to find? Like, this is literally for the person who, like, I like to tell people that I make my videos so that they're consumable by the person who started today. They just picked the game up, they just started it, and they want to know if this person that's on the banner is good. And so yeah, for me, that's how I try to frame my things, is I want to cater to the lowest common denominator of person who he's back and then he disappeared again. Now he's back.
Yeah.
He's got that middle of nowhere internet going on.
Sorry, my internet just like.
I know nothing about those struggles. Trust me.
It is that it's your internet service provider. Come on, tell his name.
Mega Cable.
There you go. There you go.
There are
Come
memes.
on.
There are memes.
Your frustrations.
There are memes about my channel fighting against Mega Cable. Like, these are like memes.
I actually saw a while ago a Twitter interaction that made me laugh like an hour. Like, you post some grab about your internet connection that was crappy, and you should reply like, "Are you at my house?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, because you were, I was like, man, trying to download this thing, and you're just like, wait, are you at my house? Are you me? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where I was.
And he's gone.
Again. So back to what we were saying, but like that's the big thing too, is, for those seasoned people, if they come into our videos like that, why not just, add extra knowledge? Like, I love when people come in, like, I just started posting up some Epic 7 PvP videos, and so when people come in and they're like, hey, well, why don't you run this and this, why don't you do this with this strategy? Like, those are the kind of things that, like, I learn from, and like other people reading the comments learn from. You don't learn anything from somebody being like, oh, poggers, it's not a whale 2.0. Like, that's literally a useless comment. And not only that, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest, because I'm just like, oh, okay, kid, I guess I rustled your jimmies pretty good. So it's like, instead of just being a doucher, why not just be more helpful? And every content creation community is going to have a wide range of people. If you want the in the weeds knowledge, the very technical high level stuff, you go to Toho Sniper. You want somebody who has a super smooth voice, you go to K Collections, or you go to G&A Reviews. You want somebody who is really bad and has like a terrible voice, you go to me for some reason. I don't know. But
or you can be like a pretty cool guy and be on everyone's channel. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I follow every single content creator or for freaking order, because I love the game and I love people creating content about the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? And like, the other thing too is, like, instead of tearing people down, people should just be like, hey, why don't you do X, Y, and Z with this next video? So like with my servant reviews, there for a while they were like really super basic, and it wasn't like anything super special. But I had somebody reach out and they're like, hey, why don't you talk about like NP gain and card combos and stuff like that? And so I put that in there, and a lot of people were like, holy crap, dude, this is awesome. It's not too often that I get a Brave Chain, but it's good to see, to put a number to the potential NP gain from like, a first card arts card or a last card arts card type of deal with that. And so I remember I was at a convention and I had just gotten done doing a panel, and somebody like saw me grabbing food and they just walked up and they were just like, hey man, I just want to thank you because like when you put those card combos in, like that literally changed the game on your servant reviews, because that's just so much more in depth. And they're like, I really like the fact that you're not like Game Press, where in that you only suggest K scope, Black Grail, and insert whatever card the NP is type deal. And I like looking at alternative cards and stuff like that too, and cards a little bit in the future and things, and I also try to not suggest just Hans, Merlin, Waver, Tamamo for everybody as well. So it's one of those things where like as you build a community, it also helps shape the content creation that you make, because I mean, I would have never thought to put card combos in there until somebody was like, hey, that'd be really cool to see. And I'm like, you know what, that would be really cool to see.
Yeah,
So
the feedback of the community, of course.
yeah.
I also got that on my videos. Like when I was doing my servant spotlights, just like yours, I just like talk about the wiki, talk about the stats, talk about the skills, the MP game, the noble phantasm, whatever, and then give a very brief overview about the servant, and that's it. And someone suggested, hey, maybe you can try to tell us in what order we should level up the skills for this servant or for that new servant. Oh, that's right. So I did, and it got good. And then was like, can you recommend us some craft essence for these servants on this type of scenarios? And I was like, oh, you know what? That's good too.
Yeah.
and I put it in, and everybody loved it.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about building a community as well, is just getting that feedback and growing along with the people that
Right.
are following your channel. So, are you back, Ark?
Yeah.
All right, welcome
Sure.
back.
Are you sure?
For the moment, anyways.
Yeah.
So Andraxxus, earlier you talked about how you were huge into the Nasuverse and stuff like that. How do you feel that FGO coming to North America has impacted the amount of people that are getting into the animes and the extra stuff like that?
Oh, well, you know what? It's kind of amazing because when I started watching, well, I was playing first, and when I started looking for information about the game, looking at other content creators about the game, and I said to myself, I can do this. And I was in a point in my life where I can actually become a content creator again. So I started with a simple kind of introducing video for my old community for Fragrant Order, and I wasn't expecting like, okay, this should get like 10 views and that stuff. And it kind of grow. Like I have like 5, 6, 7 comments, and I was okay. So I'm gonna do more, and I was starting doing more videos and more videos and more videos. I was looking for ways to record not from my phone but from my PC, like mirror my phone to my PC and for the phone that I have. No, I didn't want to use emulators. Not that I'm against them. So I'm just concerned for myself and for my account security. So that's my issue. But I wanted to do it all from my phone, and I was doing more content, and I did my first live stream on YouTube and got 17 viewers. So okay, there's people for this, so I'm gonna continue. And the next stream I got like maybe 80. The next one I was getting like maybe 150, and I was like, oh, there are people like me in Latin America who are into not just into mobile game, like they're into the Fate universe. And they was like, oh, there's finally someone who is doing content in Spanish. Oh man, subscribe, whatever. I will follow you to the deep of the earth or whatever. And yeah, and I actually still have a bunch of people from that point in my channel's life. There's a bunch of people that there came to my channel when I just got like 50, 60 people in my live streams on YouTube, because I then kind of migrated to Twitch. Like yes, but no. But it was kind of amazing to find out there's a really strong community for Fate, specifically for Fate. I knew there was a bunch of people who love anime in here. That's not a surprise. But there are people who actually like playing the game, like they are gamers and they are into the Fate franchise. And it kind of blew my mind. It was the greatest thing to have found this community who it's very grateful to me for doing what I do, because like Ark said, there's a bunch of people who unfortunately don't know English very well, and they're playing the game blind. Like they love the game, they love the artwork, they love the franchise, but they really don't know what they're doing. So they thank me like, oh, thank you so much for explaining this. I didn't know this. I have this server, I didn't know that it can do that or this, or I can use it on this situation. So I am very grateful and very lucky to have found this awesome community for Fate and for mobile games in general. And if they allow me, I'll continue doing that for as long as I can, because I love them.
Awesome. Do you guys have much in the way of anime conventions down in your areas that you've been to?
What did you say? I didn't.
Yeah, you got cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Do you guys have anime conventions and stuff down in your area?
Yeah, in Mexico we have like 5 or 4 big cities where they usually do big anime conventions, and well, they get a lot of people. In my town, we also get them, but it's not that quite popular because the thing is that the accessibility for the stuff, for the goodies, it's kind of expensive, and I wanted to actually make that point about the income from our regions. I mean, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, all Latin America, it doesn't have the greatest economy in the history. I mean, let's be real. I love my people and everything, but we really struggle sometimes to get stuff because it's really expensive. And just another day, I heard that they were going to increase the taxes on the stuff that you bring from Japan and Asia. So that makes the prices go up, and the people, mostly the normal people, don't have that kind of money to spend it on goodies. It's kind of really
Doggos!
Dogo. Cabal too. So yeah, it's about the accessibility to the money and to the goodies. In my town, there was someone that used to do a lot of conventions, and the other day I met with him, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep doing this because it's really expensive, and the market, even if it's growing because of Amazon and streaming services, people are not are not trying to buy um, that much anime stuff. They're probably try to look it up online and don't want to uh,
But you got La
don't
Mole right there, right?
yeah. I went to the mall once, but it's it's a show, but for most of the people, it's more like a big market. So for at least for me, I used
And he's gone.
Did he die?
no.
Oh, there you go.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. No, I used to go to conventions, but then I suddenly realized that I only used to go to conventions to meet up with my friends. So
So I mean that's how conventions are quite a bit in the United States too. Like I typically
right.
go to conventions a lot just to meet up with friends, but one of the things that I was curious about is like how is the um Fate cosplay scene down in your neck of the woods, cuz up here it was always very like it was there. You would see a lot of like Rin, Shiro, Archer, Saber, but not like too much otherwise. But now, like you'll see absolutely everything. I've seen Liz, I've seen Berserker Nobu, I've seen Saber Fran, I've seen regular Fran, Moriarty's, Sherlock's, stuff like that you just really wouldn't have seen until Fate Go came to North America. Um, and I wonder if that has reached your area or not.
Uh, for me, I think I only know like one cosplayer. I really don't know a lot of cosplayers, but the only one that I have seen cosplay from Fate Grand Order and not in like IRL, like in person. It's someone called I think as Meriwether. I think it's her name. I really don't know, but that's the only cosplay I have seen for Fate Grand Order. I think she did like Nero Bride and I think Artoria by Vanilla. So besides that, I don't quite see a lot of cosplay, but I think it's getting there because it's getting bigger every time because Netflix even here has like I think Fate Extra on Netflix, Limited Blade Works, Fate
Apocrypha.
Zero, Apocrypha. So we have that. So people are starting to watch more Fate stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things, like going
Yeah.
back to my question with Andraxxus about the Nasuverse stuff, is I've noticed that a lot of people who may get into the game just because the game's advertised or their friends into the game, whatever, they'll get into the game and then they'll be like, oh, well, I need to know what else is out there, what else do I have available to me, and then so as they get more into the game, they want to know what these characters are from. So then they go watch the anime, they go, read the visual novels, they go like consume the rest of the rest of the stuff. And it seems like, at least to me, that we're getting a lot more people
Yeah.
into the Nasu verse itself, and that's really cool because a lot of times, like at conventions, there will be panels on it or something like that, and I'll go I'll hang out with the people after the panel and just literally talk about just crazy weird Nasuverse stuff that that we're all interested in, and that is to me just something that is really cool. And I just really
Yeah,
thoroughly
y-
enjoy that.
it's really fun. And imagine this: you and most of the people from United States, Canada, and all the English-speaking countries don't really know a lot about us Latin Americans being so fans, so deep into the Nasuverse. And when I was in Japan, I I met people at the Fate Festa, the second Fate Festa, and when I showed them the new Fate Grand Order in English, they were like, "What Fate? It's in English? You, where are you guys at?" And I showed them my phone, and we're like, "Oh my God, you don't have like September? You don't have?" We were really the newborn server, and they were like, "What? You guys know about Fate? You guys know about?" Uh, our stuff. Some guys that had made at Osaka took my phone and were, dude, you play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, you play Postrat, you play. I didn't knew you guys really like all those things that are inherently for the Japanese um, audience. I mean, they were kind of a shock. It was kind of a shock for them to see that we actually like that stuff and a lot.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
No, when I was over in Japan back in December, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was I was on the train and there was somebody sitting near me, and I was on my tablet just burning through lottery boxes because I had a lot of lottery boxes that I had to go through. And so he didn't really speak too much English, but it was really cool because like he kind of sat down next to me, and like he had his phone out and he was just kind of like tilting it so that I could see that he was playing Fate Grand Order, and just kind of side-eyeing me. And so finally I was just like, hey dude, who's your waifu? And so then afterwards we had like a bit of a conversation, and it was really cool to be able to do that and have that bit of conversation with somebody, even though the language barrier was an issue. Just to be able to go like, hey man, yeah, I like waifus too.
Waifus don't have borders.
Exactly. No borders around waifus and language barriers either. But we have been talking for almost an hour. So I'm gonna call it here. Andraxxus, I do kind of want to have a future podcast with you where we talk about mobile gaming sphere and the future of it, because it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. So maybe we'll do that in one of the next couples. But sure, I would like to thank you guys for making it out. It's awesome to get you guys kind of out there more towards the, to content or to viewers that, may not have been aware of your presence because you're mostly Latam. So, but yeah, I will link to everybody's stuff in the description. But if people are too lazy to read the description, Ark, where can they find you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, and you can guys check me out on ArkFGO on Twitch or on my YouTube channel that Shogun's probably gonna link in the description.
Oh, you said the forbidden word here.
Oh. The YouTube alters. I'm sorry. YouTube. You can find me on YouTube alter.
It's okay. I think they only transcribed the first like 5 minutes of the video, so we're good. We're good at this point.
Okay, you just don't say the YouTube alter's true name. So okay, thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, no problem. I'll link them to your Twitter and stuff too.
Thank you.
And Andraxxus?
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's been fun. Love being able to speak to a couple of comrades in arms about fate, about mobile games, about all this stuff that we love and we, like you said, made poorly financial decisions about, because that's something we can all relate to. But nah, thank you so much for having us here, and thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the podcast. And yeah, happy to do it all over again. And you can actually find me. Just look for Andraxxus on YouTube, like with double X, and I'm sure it's gonna be in the title of the podcast. So just look my name up. My channel should show up. Also on the other guy, like the purple thing, you know. Just look that up. Look my name up,
I
and
like YouTube
it should show up.
Alter. I like the title
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
Alter.
It's kind of it's. Ark invented it, so
There
yeah.
we go.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
well,
the purple YouTube. You can go there.
yeah,
The YouTube altar. You can
yeah,
go there and look for my name, and my channel should show up.
And you could
I
probably just
I
Google them
stream.
too, but make sure you only put 2 X's in there, or else you get
yeah.
probably a
I
whole
was
different
about to say
website.
that.
Yeah, not 3. That's
No,
another
not really.
guy. That's another guy. Not me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
promise.
And
So
remember,
yeah.
just remember this.
Yeah,
Narrows.
I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the YouTube and the purple YouTube altar, and I tried my best to keep up with the videos on YouTube. But I definitely stream on YouTube on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So yeah,
I stream every day in every possible way and form. I don't know. I don't have a life. Thank you, guys.
No
thank you guys.
problem. Thanks, dudes. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.